Thursday night, week 13. Prime Video. You all saw it right here on the Roku platform, I'm sure. Oh, baby. The Dallas Cowboys and the Seattle Seahawks just absolutely refusing to punt and going up and down the field like a track meet. And DK Metcalf doing what he told you if you watch this show, you listen to this show, he told you a couple months ago, I'm learning sign language so I could curse people out and people don't even know what I'm doing. And he's scoring in sign languaging. And, the old X machine started saying, hey, he's showing up to Ron Bland with his hands. It was not just his hands. It was his feet. It was his entire body.
Legs,
it was his throwback uniform. It was all sorts of wild stuff from the Seattle Seahawks last night, throwing it right on the Dallas Cowboys. And when DK Metcalf was ticketed for speeding in a 20-mile-an-hour zone, according to the old next-gen stats, he ran the fastest with a football this season. That touchdown, that 73-yarder that put the Dallas Cowboys behind on the scoreboard for the first time in their home season, that was the fastest anyone has run with a football this year, faster than Devin A-Chain.
Really?
And everyone else on the Miami Dolphins, 22.2 miles an hour, faster than the Week 5 touchdown Tyreek Hill scored. He was 22 miles an hour there. And the Seahawks kept pushing the pedal to the metal and took a lead in this game. And you all know what was going on. TJ knows what was going on. All Dallas Cowboys fans know what was going on. The rest of this National Football League narrative, talking culture was ready to just pounce on the Dallas Cowboys and say, they 100%, you totally worry about them. Everybody after the show, Micah Parsons was even talking about the narratives. He's got a podcast. He's out there with narratives. He's out there fighting back narratives like he's in Game of Thrones. They sure as hell hear it, and you could just see it, the pressure mounting, as Mike McCarthy was making one weird decision after another.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about those.
Weird decision after another. And even ones that I agreed with, the analytics culture was popping in saying, why is he kicking a field goal to go up 6 points when all you need is 3 yards and you've got a 6% chance, better chance of winning a football game, which is what he was presented with last night when he popped Aubrey out there for one extra field goal, as opposed to him popping him out there for another field goal earlier on in the game instead of going for two to tie it.
That's what the one I understand.
Okay, that's all right. So the stuff of the Dallas Cowboys that normally forms the cloud of the narrative that they fold under pressure and can't make decisions under pressure, and the coach makes weird decisions under pressure, and you can't beat a team with a winning record. Who have you really beaten? Those narratives were forming. And then Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and the rest of this team began to get it done. And then at the end of the game, the Seattle Seahawks kept going for it on fourth down. And despite being outstanding on third down, missing on only 5 third down opportunities in the game, that led to a handful of fourth down opportunities, many of them in the fourth quarter. They went for them all and didn't get a single one of them, while the Dallas Cowboys made the plays at the end. And then for some ungodly reason, the Seattle Seahawks get together for their final fourth down do-or-die decision and say, Zach Charbonnet's out, and after having a really good night, and, also Kenneth Walker's out. So let's rely on DJ Dallas to try and make a play and let Micah Parsons loose at the same time. And number 11 called game, along with Tank Lawrence. He called game, and despite Geno Smith and this offense looking exactly the way they needed to look in their awesome throwback uniforms, please keep them, Seattle, the Dallas Cowboys prevail. And there is no narrative today other than the fact that Dallas is 9-3, because that should be the pushback here, if I may, TJ, for you. and the rest of Cowboys Nation that you say doesn't really care about it? Because if the Philadelphia Eagles are being hailed for winning games that they're down in, now I understand the Seahawks aren't the same level in many people's minds opponent as the Chiefs and the Bills, two teams that are habitually in the Final Four in their conference. But you are playing who you're playing, and Seattle came correct last night with Pro Bowlers doing their jobs everywhere, from DK and Bobby Wagner, who was blowing people up. And then the kids like Charbonnet are doing it, and Jackson Smith-Njigba are doing it. Noah Fant is making catches. Why can't the Cowboys be given the kudos for winning a game where they were down at halftime in and needed to win ugly? Because what definitely looked pretty last night was their quarterback. Again. Once again. And if we're saying Jalen Hurts is an MVP candidate, and I have said that on Overreaction Monday podcast segment, as well as this show, let's throw Dak in that mix. Nobody has thrown more touchdown passes than Dak Prescott entering this weekend. 26 now. And the guy who's right behind him is not going to overtake him because he's on a bye week. That's Josh Allen, who, by the way, has thrown 13 interceptions with his 24 touchdowns. Dak's thrown 6. Mm-hmm. And he has, since the Week 7 bye, thrown for 20 of his 26 touchdown passes in the 6 games. Since the merger, Cowboys have had a lot of good quarterbacks, right? Since the merger? Right?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
There's Staubach, Aikman. There's 2 with busts.
Heard of them.
Nobody's had more in a 6-game span in the history of the Dallas Cowboys than the merger than Dak Prescott over the last 6 weeks. And again, in those 6 weeks, 20 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And this is the guy who's supposed to be killing you, backbreaking with the 2 interceptions. And I understand who have you really beaten? That's for next week's conversation. But for today, they did beat a team that was above 500 coming in, and they did beat a team that had their A++ material, and Dak Prescott led them. And he keeps finding CeeDee Lamb, too, on top of it.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, MVP is a 4-man race according to Vegas right now, guys. Jalen Hurts, your favorite, followed by Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, all with pretty close odds.
And I got to tell you, Mahomes, that's on name. Mahomes has thrown 21 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. The reason why the Chiefs, and we talked about this with Stone Street, I said it to his face yesterday, so this is not a denigration. The defense is the reason why the Chiefs have been able to tinker offensively and maybe find Rashee Rice, TJ Jefferson's him in his fantasy suggestions for this week.
I mean, it should have been DK, but you know.
Well, we did tell one of our callers yesterday, don't bench DK for.
I'm pretty sure.
I think we did say that for Brandon Cooks, even though he scored 2.
Yeah, that too. Call back if you're out there.
I had him in fantasy myself.
But I'll tell you, man, honestly, the other guys, Tua has thrown 22 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Dak has had almost as many touchdowns in the last 6 games than Tua has had all year, and he's been running this offense that we're talking about is one of the greatest shows on turf. But you know who really is? Dallas at home. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.